815 Sports Podcast here. Thursday night football among us tonight, as well as me and Jake going to talk about our picks for Week 14. And we want to start off the show today going over Illinois' huge win over Texas Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. Texas, obviously, number 2 team in the country. They were playing some great basketball. Jake, start her off.
Yeah, how about them fighting Illini? I got written down here that they had a 13% win probability under a minute left before Jaden Epps hit that three. And it went in, and they still only had a 26% win to win that game after that three went in. But can we just talk about how Brad Underwood teams in his tenure have never given up? Because they look deader than a doornail. I think they were down 12 points with 8 something left. I don't know if I'm wrong.
They were down double digits a few times in that game.
With 8 minutes, they played really well till halftime. Actually, they played really good. They were up by 3 at halftime, but then Texas came out in the second half, and at about the 17-minute mark, Illinois Texas went on a 16-2 run. That's hard to overcome. 16-2 run. That's just. I don't understand how nobody knows how they won that game, because they didn't even really go on a run. They just went on like a 7-0 run, and then Texas would score, and then Illinois would score again.
And I felt like Texas, basically controlled the whole second half of the game.
Yeah, they did. But Illinois never went on a big run. So I just don't know. I just don't know how they won. Yeah, and overtime's a different story. But here's a Brad Underwood stat. He's 12-5 in his last 17 games against top 10 teams. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
You tell me. You tell me about it. I don't know if there's a better coach in college basketball right now that has a better record than that. I really don't. That's incredible. Illinois has beaten 2 top 10 teams this year in neutral sites. So I almost think that's even – I don't know if it's harder than going to win at that person's place. But neutral site are sometimes just as hard because there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't the case for Illinois, because the fans are absolutely crazy and travel like I've never seen before. Versus UCLA and Texas. And then their 2 losses are also on a neutral site.
Against ranked teams.
Against Virginia. And the other one is at Maryland. So they have 2 ranked losses.
Maryland. I think Virginia's like top 10 right now.
Virginia's top 5.
Top 5.
And Maryland was undefeated.
Yeah.
So they're not.
Maryland's a tough place to win.
They're not Illinois. That's like a house of horrors for them. Brad Underwood has yet to win there. I don't know what it is. The officiating's terrible when they go there. They'd act like they don't know how to play basketball. But whatever, that game's over with.
Oh, the foul discrepancy in the game. I was looking the other night. It was 4. Texas got 4 more fouls. Me and you were arguing over text about it.
Oh,
There was a few calls. Jake thought they were a block. Anymore, I feel like every single one of them was called a charge.
I agree.
But I think a lot of them were charges. I thought at times Illinois played almost too fast.
Yeah, they did come in, like you said, like a bulldozer a few times. But it's just the fact that there were 6 charges called against Illinois in that game. 6. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that and for not one of them to go their way. There was also a bad goaltend. They were sloppy. They had a lot of turnovers. Their best player didn't even have a bucket. When was Terrence Shannon's first bucket?
Let's see here. I got it written down. Overtime. He had 12 points in overtime.
But did he have a bucket in the second half?
It might have been like free throws.
He was scoreless at halftime, and Illinois was winning.
Yeah.
Now, let's give a lot of credit to Matthew Meyer.
Yeah, he looked like a second coming to Larry Bird.
He finally showed up.
5 of 5 from 3-point line.
2 of the threes he made, like crossovers over top of somebody, were awful shots.
Yeah.
But they went in.
He was hot.
And that's what you
need that sometimes. Hawkins was across the board. He filled up the stat sheet as he probably will the rest of the year.
Hawkins doesn't really.
He almost has like a Draymond Green role.
He's not going to wow you.
Yeah.
But when you look at the stats, you're like, you don't win any game without Coleman Hawkins.
Yeah.
You don't.
And then obviously, like you said about Epps, his big 3, but then how about the free throws there,
Yeah,
and they tried icing him on the.
How about a freshman
Yeah,
stepping up and making 2 free throws?
yeah, that was huge.
And Jaden Epps really hasn't played that much. He's played a lot, but not the minutes Clark's got.
Yeah.
Or, some of the other guys. And for him to step up and make 2 free throws with 8 seconds left to send it into overtime, like you said, got iced, is incredible.
And the team shot 21 of 31 from the line, so that's almost 68%.
That's just awful.
Just, you'd like to see it in the 70 to 80 range. 80, you're lucky if you see it there. But a lot of these Brad Underwood teams over the past few years, we've seen they've not shot free throws really well and it's come back to bite them. Luckily, they got away with it in this game. Another thing I want to touch on was they were 10 of 23 from 3, which is about 44%.
That's
okay. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and then I want to give a shout out to Sincere Harris. I mean,
he had a block.
He comes in, and the defense he was playing was just tenacious. It was all over a guy. He's like Jake guarding me when we play 1-on-1. And it was pretty fun to watch, and he brought a lot of energy to the floor.
And you know what? You mentioned that he plays defense most of the time without fouling.
Yeah,
that's what's impressive. But he reminds me of how Trent Frazier played defense. And then also Jaden Epps reminds me of the relationship that Brad Underwood had with Trent Frazier. If you remember back when Trent Frazier first got to Illinois, that he missed a lot of shots to win games.
Yeah.
And Underwood told him, I want you to keep taking them. I want you to keep taking them. You're going to make them. And look at as he got older. He was the one taking the shots besides Io, and he hit them. And that's what Underwood told Epps. I've seen you make that shot he missed at Maryland to give him the lead 100 times. He missed. Whatever. They lose that game. What does he come back and do versus Texas? He makes it. So I feel like there's a lot of Brad's going to build a relationship with these players. And once you get their trust, they only play better. And that's what he's good at doing. Because he's hard. He can be hard. I mean, obviously, we've heard some of the guys that have talked to Matt Meyer down in Champaign.
And we got to watch him on the sideline.
I mean, he's an animal. He's like me at home.
He's got a lot of energy, and you like to see that from your head coach.
But this is Underwood quoted after the game. Underwood says, he has surprises every night. He says, I don't know who is going to do it. I don't know where it's coming from, and I don't know what it's going to look like.
About the way they win games.
About the way they win games, about who can step up. Which I almost think that's good because then the team don't know who to like. So if I'd have told you that Shannon Jr., Illinois' leading scorer at 0 points at half, what would you have said the score would have been?
I would assume they were losing. I don't know. The score, what was the score at half? It was like
39 to 36 or something.
I don't know. I would assume Illinois probably had 20, 25 to 27, 28 points.
So you'd assume they'd have been losing?
Yeah.
Well,
especially going into overtime because I think he finished with 16 maybe, and I mean he scored all 12.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like Illinois is so lethal in terms of who do you guard?
You think this is the deepest team he's had since he's
been there? It's 100% his deepest team. I don't know if it's the best team yet. I think by the end of this year it'll be his best team.
Yeah.
They're good. They're number 8 in net ranking. They're number 12 in KenPom. And this is a team that lost 5 starters and 86% of its scoring.
From last year.
And they've already played 4 ranked teams in
Frazier and Kofi. Yeah.
They've played 4 ranked teams.
Which the losses aren't even going to hurt you.
In 9 games.
Yeah.
So you tell me why Illinois is going to be in the top 10 with 2 losses. When a lot of people are going to beat that don't follow them are going to be like, well, what's the love affair going on there? Well, do your research or do your research, and you'll know.
Yeah, and going forward, like we were just talking before we started here, they got Penn State, and then they got Alabama A&M, then they got Missouri, and then they got Bethune-Cookman. So I mean, you're looking at a team that's I don't see a reason why they couldn't win.
All those games are at home.
And then they play at Northwestern. So going into Wisconsin January 7th, I would expect Illinois to win at least 4 of their next 5.
They're going to win all of them.
I would like to believe that, but you never know.
They have Their next 5 games are at home. Penn State's at home, A&M's at home, Missouri's in
Neutral
St.
site.
Louis, which is a neutral site, which will probably be 70-40, 70-30 Illinois. Bethune-Cookman's at home, and then at Northwestern, Illinois is going to fill that place out with orange.
Probably, yeah,
And then they go home to Wisconsin.
on a Saturday.
So, yeah, they've played a
Big
lot of
time
neutral
games.
site and road games, but now they're going to be home.
Yeah,
And
and they're
the-
already battle tested. They should go into
Yeah.
these games against less superior teams, in my opinion, and should have their way with them.
And I don't want to hear nothing about Missouri being 9-0. They've played nobody. Their best team they've played is Wichita State, in which they won by
It's been a
4
while
or
since
5.
Wichita State's been super relevant.
So
But big win for Illinois, and
yeah,
hopefully it continues.
So this is what's the word I'm trying to look for? This is I don't know if a lot of people agree with me. I'm going out on a limb here and saying that was Brad Underwood's best win in his Illinois career. If
he has another win against the top 2 team in
it came
21.
at Michigan, but that was later on in the season.
Yeah.
When the team was already gelling and we knew what they were. We weren't really sure what Illinois was.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know now that they can play shitty. They had 50 points at the 8-minute mark in the second half. 50. They ended up with 35. So they scored 35 points in 13 minutes of basketball. And it, right? 8 plus 5. In overtime.
13. Yeah. They scored. Yeah, you're right.
And it's supposed to get harder to score late in the game.
Yeah.
Because teams clamp up.
Tired.
Well, that's not the case. So ILL.
I huge win. Season will continue. We'll continue to talk about it. We're trying to get some people on here to talk about it.
And if you want to get tickets for Saturday, you're screwed. They're already sold out. You're probably gonna have to go to Step Up. No, not this Saturday.
Oh. Let's see up next here. So across the bottom, I got some of the free agent deals that have went down. So obviously, sad to see Contreras go to St. Louis. Still love the guy.
We knew it.
But I mean, he did get paid pretty well.
What he signed a 5-year,
87.5 mil.
So we knew he was going somewhere.
Yeah.
It was either Houston or St. Louis.
The Bogarts news last night surprised me when I seen he went to San Diego's loaded. Bogarts, Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Machado.
So I don't want to hear
Austin
none of
Nola.
the luxury.
They still got Blake Snell, I think, pitching. They still got
Yeah.
Darvish. I mean, they got a really good team.
But the problem is they're always in the division with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which they might
did
have
beat the Dodgers in the playoffs.
They
last
might
year.
have a better team than the Dodgers this year.
Yeah, I think they do.
They probably
and
do.
the Dodgers lost Turner to Philadelphia, 11 years, $300 million. I heard that Turner got offered more money from some other teams, and he turned down like 60 extra million to go to the Phillies. So, but let's talk about the Cubs quick. The Cubs signed Bellinger, 1-year deal, $17.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe approve it. Maybe he gets more after that. Obviously, 2019 MVP, Gold Glover, Rookie of the Year in 17, World Series champion, 2018 NLCS MVP, Silver Slugger.
Didn't he win MVP in 2019?
Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
Okay.
2019 MVP. In that year, he batted .305 with 47 home runs and 115 RBIs.
Look.
He's only 27, which is young in baseball because your career lasts a little bit longer.
People want to say like bring up like this is a bad deal. Like this is a low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
If you can even get half of that. So what if he comes and hits 25 home runs and has 80 RBIs?
It's pretty nice. You'd take that every day of the week, and he's a good fielder.
So now that you talk about Bellinger, so let's talk about their outfield really quick. It's going to be Seiya in right, Bellinger in center, and Happ in left. The years that the seasons that Seiya and Happ had last year, if they rebound and have a decent season like that, and Bellinger has a decent season, that's a pretty good outfield. Now it might be a top 10 outfield in the league. I mean, I don't know where there's 3 better. They have to prove it.
Yeah.
They have to prove it, obviously. But Bellinger's already proven it. Happ, I would say, has proven it. Seiya's got to prove he can do it again.
Yeah. Bellinger, yeah.
But I'm not, in no means am I agreeing with the Cubs and their bullshit that they're pulling right now. They're full of shit. They're pissing everybody off. And if they don't sign one of these shortstops,
would you rather have Correa or Dansby?
I mean, I think Dansby Swanson might be better defensively.
Yeah,
but he's not better offensively. And Correa's the it, like he's that it player.
Mm-hmm.
Dansby, maybe he is. Maybe we get Dansby, and maybe he comes and his career ramps up and gets better. But you know what Correa is.
Yeah.
He's been battled. They've both been battle tested. They both have had runs in the playoffs.
Dansby wins wherever he's at. So at least he brings that.
If they sign Dansby Swanson, I'd be happy. That would him and Horner up the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know about first. I'll live with Wisdom at third. I don't know about catcher. So there's still a lot of questions about this team.
Yeah.
I think they're heading in the right direction. They also signed Jamison Talion.
Yep.
Which, 4-year, $68 million.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
A lot of people think we overpaid and that he's not a top.
Here's the thing.
Top of the rotation guy.
That's
what I watched on MLB News.
Either you pay it or you don't, or you just have scrubs. At least in Talion, he was with the Yankees last year.
Yep.
And they trusted him in their rotation.
Mm-hmm.
On a team that could have won it all.
Yeah. 3.91 ERA, 177 innings pitched. You got him and Stroman there at the top. So we'll see what happens. And he's
not your one.
No.
He's probably your three. It's probably going to be Stroman, Hendricks, Talion, or Talion and Hendricks could be reversed depending on who pitches well in spring training and who looks better. But
maybe, who knows, maybe
the Cubs fucked up. And look, there's nothing else. They could have got Correa last year before the Bogart signing and before all these players got all these big-ass deals. Well, now they've shot themselves in the foot 10 times because now they're going to have to overpay for him if they want him. They're going to probably even have to overpay for Dansby Swanson because what did they do? They sat around in fucking mud like they did last year, and they didn't want to do nothing. They didn't want to sign nobody, and now we're going to be screwed again. Because they're not probably going to overpay for these guys. I hope I'm wrong. But they could have avoided this by signing Correa last year.
And Correa had a really good year last year.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
And now it's like, are you going to give him a 10-year, $350 million contract? That's probably what it's going to take. And I don't want to hear this, well, we got to spend intelligently. Well, go tell the San Diego Padres how to spend their goddamn money because they've got $1 billion worth of players, right? Between 4 of them, they have $1 billion wrapped up.
Yeah.
And
they're going to try to pay Soto too.
They do not have the revenue we do.
No.
So what's going on? Are we saving? Are we going to offer Shohei Ohtani 10 years, $600 million next year? Is that what you're waiting for? Because if that's what you're waiting for, that's fine. But you better offer it next year to him. Because I am so sick and tired of the Cubs and their bullshit. We got to spend intelligently. No, you don't. You don't. Go over the luxury. Is San Diego over the luxury tax?
Probably.
They have to be.
Yeah. Yankees do it. Yankees got what? $300 million guys? 3 guys on their roster equal up to $1 billion.
So I'm just so fed up with that. And you know what? I always try to get people to go to Wrigley Field. I always try to be like, hey, like it's so fun, even when they're not that good. Like, let's go drink some beers, let's have some fun, and let's watch Cubs.
It is more fun to watch the game there than it is on TV. But anyways, go ahead.
But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not going to care next year. Am I going to go? Sure, because it's in my blood, and I don't know anything else but to go to Wrigley Field. I mean, that's all I do. But I'm not going to tell people like, hey, go like. I need to see them do something for us. I need to see them spend money for us. Like you spent
how
money
Miami did for you?
Yeah, like the Dolphins did. Who would have thought that? Like they signed Sale last year to a deal. You signed Talion. You signed Bellinger. What are you just trying to put out decent players for what? Like for
to
what?
Be halfway decent.
Like I write here. The Phillies showed you the freaking blueprint last year.
All you got to do is get in.
Of what you have to do. Get in at 87 and 75. Okay, that's a good year. You played competitive baseball. Get in and have a chance. And look at what happened when they got in.
Yep.
You didn't want to play them.
I wanted Philly to win.
But I'm just not sure of the direction of the Cubs. They're in a division that's not the toughest. It's not the easiest. Milwaukee's always solid, and the Cardinals are always solid. The Pirates are suspect.
It's not tough. It's definitely not one of the toughest divisions.
The Reds. The Reds are always – they're going to be good, and they always suck. But this is a division where if the Cubs can win 85 games, they have a chance. And how much did they win last year?
71, 70. It was low 70s.
It was low 70s, mid 70s. And it's just going to piss me off if they don't try to win 10 more games and try to have a chance. For what? Because what are we waiting for these young guys to come up? Because when these young guys do come up, you have to have players to surround them with.
Well,
right?
It's better to pay people now anyways, because then you're going to have the young guys on those cheap deals for in baseball. It's like 7 or 8 years. But in other sports, it only lasts 4.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's all I kind of got on the Cubs.
I mean, I know you talked about
before I continue to freak out.
You talked about Ohtani, and I did see that.
I've heard
the Cubs are super interested, but again, that's next year.
But how many times have we heard them be interested on every freaking player in free agency? Because everybody wants to play in Chicago. I don't know how long it's going to last where people want to play in Chicago. I mean,
you got to put forth an effort to be successful.
I mean, sales were down last year, and they still led the league almost in attendance, and sales were down. So I don't know how much longer you're going to have Cub fans wrapped around your finger, but this bullshit needs to stop. Go sign Correa or go sign Dansby Swanson or sign both of them.
Well, I bet. What do you think? You think at least one of them will sign by the end of the week? Somewhere.
I think the Cubs are going to get Dansby Swanson. I hope I'm wrong in the fact because I want Correa. I wouldn't be upset with Dansby Swanson. I wanted Bogarts and Swanson, and there was talk of that. But it's just weird. The Cubs met off-site with Correa. They met off-site of the winter meetings with him. So that means there was interest in both parties to meet somewhere offset.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. That being said, we'll jump in Thursday night football. All right, so tonight we got Vegas at the Rams. Las Vegas is playing for a playoff spot.
They are at 5-7.
Yes, 5-7. The Rams, they're not playing for anything, maybe to win a few games because they're not going to have their draft pick this year, so it doesn't even matter. That's going to the Lions. They're probably going to end up with a top 5 pick. Baker Mayfield might be playing tonight. Not 100% sure if he'll actually play at all tonight, but I think he's going to be active. So we'll see how that goes. I got Vegas in this game, and I think I'm hoping that Devontae Adams has a big game. He has the past couple of weeks, and Josh Jacobs has been playing really well too. So I got Vegas
has been
tonight.
Playing well.
Yeah,
I know they've had a lot of crazy endings.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean they're not playing well. They're playing well enough to win the game, so they're playing well.
Yeah.
I also have the Raiders. I also think the Raiders cover, if anyone cares or wondering. The Rams are in turmoil. I don't know how they are 3-9.
The over's really low tonight. I got the over's like, I think it's 39 or maybe 42 points, I think.
Yeah,
I did an alternate at like 33.
The over's tough because I don't know if the Rams are going to score that much.
Yeah, you never know, but I feel like 33 points ain't a lot to ask, but you never know.
Raiders.
Jake's got the Raiders. I got the Raiders. Up next, Jets, Buffalo. Tough news for Buffalo fans. This is a huge loss, losing Von Miller for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I still got Buffalo in this game, but I think that really hurts it knocks their playoff chances down a little bit because you counted on Von Miller to get after Mahomes in the playoffs and Burrow and now Tua. I mean, it's going to be tough. We'll see what ends up happening, but
I think Buffalo and Josh Allen are good enough to overcome losing a player like that. Now, it's absolutely going to affect them, and they'll see it in the long run. It might not affect them this week, but if there was a team that Buffalo doesn't like to see, it's the Jets.
Mike White and the Jets.
The Jets I feel like they match up well with Buffalo, like in the trenches. I don't know about I don't know how they won, but it just seems that obviously I'm not saying like no one has a Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not saying that, but they match up well. They get after the quarterback. I got Buffalo. I don't know if Buffalo covers the 10-point spread. I don't think that's a tough spread, but I would say Buffalo's on upset alert.
Yeah.
This week.
I think Buffalo wins this one.
They win, but I think they're on upset alert. So.
Up next, we got Browns at Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow is yet to beat Cleveland. I think he gets it done this Sunday.
I would agree.
I got Cleveland. Deshaun Watson looked pretty bad last week. He was throwing to the wrong team.
That's as expected.
Yeah, when you haven't played in 700 days, but I don't think the Browns are pretty good at wasting talent, and they've done it the past couple of years, and they're doing it again this year. And the players don't get any younger. But with that being said, I got Cincinnati. I think Mixon will be back, but P. Ryan's done a great job filling in and running the ball for them. You got Jamar Chase back. You still got T. Higgins. You still got Tyler Boyd. They just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they got to show up for
They're
this
at
game.
Home.
Yeah, I got Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. I would even say they cover the 6-point spread.
All right, up next, Houston, Dallas. You would expect Dallas to win this game in a rout.
I think this is the biggest spread all year. I think it's 18. My phone said it was 18.
ESPN was 16.5 yesterday.
Okay.
So it might have changed.
Well, I think today it changed. I
got Dallas.
I got Dallas. I mean, we both got Dallas. Now, as far as covering an 18-point spread, that's a lot. Now, because I could see Dallas not playing Dak after halftime, kind of like the Dolphins didn't play Tua. So Houston could come back. Yeah. I would not take this spread.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Would you take plus 16.5 with Houston?
If it's 18, yeah, because like I said, I don't think Dak plays the whole game.
Yeah.
And when Tua stopped playing, the Houston made a comeback.
Yeah, I got Dallas. They're a good team. They're playing well right now. Up next, we got Minnesota at Detroit. Minnesota not favored. Yeah, this is the first. I want to say this is the first time ever that a 10-2 team has not been favored against an under 500
Minnesota
team.
wasn't. Last time Minnesota wasn't favored at home, Dallas slaughtered them.
Yeah.
And I was kind of upset that.
Yeah, you thought it was kind of offensive.
But I almost find this more offensive. I think it's because Detroit has a good offense and they're at home, and they've played everybody well. They have the 6th most points in the league.
They've won like 4 out of their last 5.
This could be the upset. If there was an upset, this is going to be the upset of the week. I'm taking Minnesota because I think they're better. I trust their weapons more. I don't know that I trust Kirk Cousins.
I really wanted to take Detroit, but I got Minnesota.
Well, in order for you to catch up, this is how you would. You'd take a game like this. But
yeah, Jake's up 7 games.
I'm not taking Detroit. I just don't. I don't think so.
As of right now, I got Minnesota.
I got the Vikings.
Really quick, let's cut here. I'm going to show Jake. We got the standings. I'll pull them up here on the screen for you guys. So right now, these are the playoff standings, Jake. You got the Bills here, 9-3. Chiefs. Your Dolphins fell big after that loss.
Uh-huh.
So they need to get some crucial wins down the stretch here. Teams in italics and underline are not in the playoffs. Look at the Packers gaining. Probably not going to get in. That tie last week hurt them a lot. But, these teams are playing. The Lions win this game. It's looking pretty well for them to somehow sneak in.
I don't know.
And it'd be pretty exciting.
6 seed, but
yeah,
that'll happen when you had a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah,
can't afford to. That's why this is a big game.
Yeah, they'll be all right. The Dolphins will figure it out. San Francisco is a really good team. We know that. So, anyways, on to Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee fired their GM, John Robinson, after A.J. Brown dominates them. It's kind of funny that he got fired right after that. Brown went for 10 catches, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while the Titans had 157 total yards passing.
I got the Titans.
Yeah, I also have the Titans. I don't think that it was the right move to fire their GM in the middle of the season, in the middle of a playoff race.
Yeah, what's going on there? They're going to win their division.
Yeah, and he got extended, so he's going to get paid for the next 4 years without doing anything for the team. I don't understand that move, but yeah, I got the Titans in this game. They're a pretty good team. They usually beat Jacksonville, and it's at home. So,
yeah, but I will say this about Jacksonville: they surprised you. They are a surprising team.
Until Detroit kicked the shit out of them last week.
I could see this game being close for a while.
You could.
But I got Tennessee.
Up next, we got Philadelphia and the New York Football Giants after they tied last week to Washington.
I don't know about you, but there's no love for the Giants. They're at home, and they're a 7-point underdog at home, and they're in a playoff race at 7-4. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, I
7-4-1.
Yeah, I can see that, but I think Philly's playing really good ball right now, and everybody saw them just dominate the Titans last week. That's probably why they're giving them 7. And I think Philadelphia moves the ball a lot better than New York. So I got Philadelphia in this one.
They're going to need a big game from Saquon.
Yeah, And Saquon just got downgraded to be questionable.
Jones is going to have a good game.
Yeah.
But we both got Philly. I mean, that was a given.
Yeah. Up next, we got Ravens at Pitt. Lamar probably not playing, so they got Huntley back there at quarterback.
So can you pull up the thing again?
The standings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Baltimore right now is what seed?
3 seed.
Okay, they're the 3. I'm going to tell you what. After this week, Baltimore's going to fall to 8-5, and even if the Dolphins lose and go to 8-5, the Dolphins are going to move up to 5 because since he's going to be in the division, and then the Dolphins are going to be because I don't see the Jets are going to stay 7. Yeah. The Dolphins are going to be 5 and have the head-to-head over Baltimore because they beat them.
Actually, if New England wins, they could move to 7 because they beat the Jets.
Who's New England playing?
New England's playing Monday Night Football against the Cards.
Yeah, that's true. So but the Dolphins are okay, but they've got to figure their shit out. But I just wanted to point that out that Baltimore's in trouble.
Yeah,
they're in trouble.
I would say Lamar
because even when Lamar plays, they don't look good.
I don't think they're that good of a team. The real question is, are they going to pay Lamar this offseason? And he might not get the money that they were. You know what I mean? They might be hesitant. He's getting injured. And you haven't seen that much out of him.
You know what he can do, but
yeah.
So
besides Andrews, I don't really think his wide receiving core is anything special.
We both got Pittsburgh.
But I got Pittsburgh.
I also think Pittsburgh covers at 2.5.
Yeah.
So
it's at home. Pittsburgh's at least got some continuity there. Most of their starters are going to be playing this game, so I got Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, Kansas City, Denver, Kansas City. I got the Chiefs.
I don't Kansas City. I mean, I don't know what.
I got the spread over there on yours, 9.5.
Denver's not gonna fold.
They're not gonna score.
They're not gonna fold. They're also not gonna score. I mean,
their defense is tough, but they just can't score.
I'm picking Kansas City, but I think Denver covers the 10-point spread.
Okay, I got Kansas City. As far as the spread goes, 9.5. The Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will cover. It's what a poor year for Denver fans. I mean, coming into week 1, you probably were all hype, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
and now,
you thought you were going to be. You thought this game might be playing for the division.
Yeah.
Fuck, now it's just
who
playing
cares?
For shits and giggles.
Yeah, and
even if you lose, Kansas City loses. It don't mean nothing. Well, it might hurt them.
Yeah, it would hurt them
Kansas
a little
City's
bit.
still playing.
They're playing for the 1 seed with Buffalo and
Kansas
some other
City's
teams. And it just sucks for Denver fans. And Seattle really made out in this trade. The first round picks, Geno Smith somehow playing.
Fans, though they've had a lot of good seasons.
Yeah, no, I don't feel bad for Denver either because they've beaten us in the Super Bowl. So I don't feel bad for Denver at all. And I'm not a Russell Wilson fan because he's he's ruined my seasons before. So I don't care. But I'm just here to say that Kansas City is going to win this game, and I'm not sorry that it sucks for you, Denver.
No.
Up next, we got Tom Brady against Brock Purdy in San Francisco. San Francisco is a well-rounded team. I got San Francisco. I think they'll be able to do enough to get by.
I think this is the only game we defer on because I'm taking Tom Brady and Tampa on the road.
Yeah, it is the only game
off of a huge win.
Yeah,
huge win with 3 minutes left. I think Tampa gets it done. I think they score enough. I don't know if Purdy will be able to do it. I think last week was just the Dolphins, and I just think
didn't prepare for him.
Tua played bad, and he still had 300 yards. And why I say Tua played bad is because Tua played bad at the part of the game where
you needed him most.
Yeah, like in the second and third quarter when we fell behind is when we needed him to play good. Not obviously in the fourth, but you can't just play well for 1 quarter and expect to beat a good team on the road.
Yeah, and at times I thought Tua looked uncomfortable.
And who knows if Gesicki catches that ball? I mean, the Dolphins might.
You never know.
Be the 1 seed right now.
Yeah. And the reason I'm picking San Francisco is because I haven't really seen that much out of Tampa Bay to impress me this year. They're not a high-scoring offense, which is another reason why I think San Francisco can stay in the game, along with the how good San Francisco's defense is. And they still got Ayuk. They still got Kittle. They still got McCaffrey. They still got a pretty good offensive line. And like I said, the defense is stellar. So I think they're going to hang around. I think they're going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I got Tampa. I trust Tom Brady.
That's fair. Up next, we got Carolina at Seattle. Carolina, as a fan base, probably wants to lose this game to move up the draft order.
Kind of a weird spread for me. I kind of feel it should be more.
Yeah.
I like Seattle. I like Seattle big in this game.
How big? Like a touchdown or 10 points?
Yeah, 10, 7 to 10, more than 3.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I like Seattle in this game too, and typically I haven't picked Seattle much this year. I'm gonna look it up. I could be wrong. I thought Kenneth Walker got hurt last week. I could be wrong. Either way, I still got Seattle in this game. You got to be happy with how this team's played this year under Pete Carroll, especially a lot of people were thinking
that's just Pete Carroll for you. He's a very good coach. I don't know. I mean,
he's questionable this week. Walker is.
I know you don't like Seattle, but it's hard to say Pete Carroll's not a good coach because look at what he's doing with another team with a whole different scheme.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a good coach. I'm not denying that at all. So we both got Seattle. All right, Sunday Night Football. This game got flexed.
Yeah, how about that?
Nobody really wanted to see Denver again on primetime, so they flexed this game in, rightfully so. 2 young quarterbacks, same draft class, 2 teams that both are, fighting for a playoff spot. The Chargers more so than the Dolphins, but this is an important win for the Dolphins to get because you don't want to lose 2 in a row, and you don't want to fall to 8-5, and the Chargers gain one on you and go to 7-6.
Yeah, you don't, because then you go play Buffalo the following week.
Yeah, you definitely don't.
So that's why it was key to get one of these games out west, which they still can.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, last week they had a chance in the fourth quarter to win the game. So they're going to be in this game. And I don't think Tua plays as bad and misses as many throws. That being said, I'm taking the Dolphins. I think they're better. I think they're more talented. I think Herbert's a great quarterback. If he had 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, it would not surprise me. I'm hoping X-Man can shut down Keenan
Allen. I think Mike Williams is going to play too, but his ankle's pretty shaky.
I would put Xavier Howard on Keenan Allen, and I would hope that.
When they still got Derwin James and Khalil Mack and Bosa, I mean, they got a lot of good players.
So I got a few news. They've also flexed the Dolphins game next week from noon on Sunday to Saturday night versus the Bills. Teron Armstead was in practice doing drills, which if you're a Dolphins fan, that's the biggest news you've heard all week because that's Tua's blind side. And he's a veteran, and he's been amazing for the Dolphins. And I don't know, this is just a fun stat. Tua leads the NFL in Pro Bowl voting.
Tyreek Hill also in the top 5.
When was the last time? I don't know when the last time there was 2 Dolphins in the top 5, but
no idea.
It's been a fun season. Even if they lose, it's a fun season. Even if they go to 8-6 next week, I think they rebound and they win their last 3 games. I know Cole don't like to hear that, but if they lose and go to 8, if they lose these next 2 and go to 8-6, I think they finish 11-6, and I think that's probably a 5 or 6 seed.
But they're in. I don't think they're going to win the division.
If they win tomorrow, they have a chance.
They have a chance.
Then if they can beat Buffalo, they're 2-0 versus Buffalo, and then they just win out.
They control their own destiny.
They do control. I have not heard that said yet, but they do control their own destiny. And if they win out, they win the division.
Yep, and I have Miami Sunday night. It's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. But I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Miami.
I think the Dolphins.
I think Miami's a really good team. Like you
I
said,
think they can run away with it. The thing what scares me about the Dolphins is their defense is so freaking shady and inconsistent. It's not always there at times, but it does like, what's the word I'm looking for? It does bow up when you need them to and get you a stop.
Yeah.
They've done it in every game. They did it in San Francisco. It's just the offense to a fumbling, returning it for a touchdown gave them 7 more points that the defense had no control over. Yeah. Another Tua interception that led to them being at the 25-yard line. So the defense looks like gave up a lot of points, but this is probably the biggest game of the year in terms of it's not a must win. Okay, let's not get crazy and say if the Dolphins lose, they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they lose, you're not going to want to play them in the playoffs.
Both teams really need this game.
You don't want to play Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the playoffs, regardless of if they're the 7 seed or if they're the 2 seed. because
Well, even if you're the 2 seed, you don't get a bye. You get home field
Yeah.
advantage. But I
and
think
even
a lot
if they
of teams,
win and they go to 9-4 and Kansas City wins at 10-3, you're a game behind the 1 seed.
yeah,
So you still have something to play for.
yeah.
So we can.
We'll
end
end
it
it
there.
off here. We'll get
This is a good game right here
yeah.
because Arizona's been in a lot of games. They choked them away.
I personally think Arizona's done for the year as far as chances to make the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I would agree.
And I
But
think Kingsbury's going to be fired at the end of the year. But go ahead, Jake.
I just think we both got Arizona, right?
Yeah, I got Arizona.
I think Arizona being at home and Kyler Murray being a solid NFL quarterback, I just don't trust New England. I don't trust Jones. I don't trust Belichick anymore. I just don't trust that team.
It seems like they don't even trust Jones. They wouldn't let him throw.
So
Remember, you see that video of him complaining on the sideline, letting him throw the damn ball? So I got Arizona.
I got Arizona.
This will probably be an ugly game.
I think it could be a good Monday Night Football game in terms of being close because it's a 1-point spread. It's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I like Arizona.
so
That's where we'll end it tonight. We'll be back next week. If you guys want us to talk about anything, let us know. And make sure to like and subscribe. Jake, you got anything to end?
ILL.
I and I. Everybody have a good week.